Hello everyone, welcome to 9 Inch Charge, Dan here, and today we've got a brand new Warscroll review for you. We're going to be having a look at the new Demon Prince for Slaves to Darkness in the upcoming battle tome coming out in the winter. And also we'll have a think about how he compares to the current Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince. This has recently been linked to Facebook and other places. If you would rather wait for the battle tome to come out before you know all the brand new rules for the Demon Prince for the new model, stop right here. Otherwise, let's continue. But just before we do, if you enjoy this video, please be sure to drop it a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, if you're enjoying the Warscroll reviews and the Age of Sigmar content, please consider subscribing to the channel. The new Demon Prince has a move characteristic of 8, a save of 3+, a bravery of 10 and 10 wounds, and has the keywords Chaos, Slaves to Darkness, Mark of Chaos, Demon, Hero, and Demon Prince, and we don't know how many points he's going to be just yet, but the current Demon Prince is 210 points, so it's safe to say it'll be in around that ballpark. So what do we think about those stats? Well, Bravery 10 is just a given for a demon. 3+ save is really nice, so I'm really pleased he's kept that, especially in this edition, because obviously, as we know, all-out defense can make that a 2+. 10 wounds is great because that means he's gained 2 wounds. He's become even more powerful. His move characteristic has decreased, however, from 12 to 8. This is because you can take a winged and non-winged variant. But if your Demon Prince does have wings, his move goes back up to the normal 12 and he can fly. Okay, so let's have a look at his weapons. He's armed with the old and trusty Demonic Axe and Hellforged Sword. You can have one or the other, and then he has his Talons. The Demonic Sword has a 2-inch range, 5 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 2 and 2 damage. So this has seen an increase in range of 1 inch and an increase of attacks from 3 to 5. The other stats remain the same, so if you're used to using the Demonic Axe, you just get more attacks and you've got longer reach, so that's great. Rend 2 and flat 2 damage is nice, so a potential 10 damage there, and definitely will cleave through, especially battle line units and things like that. Hitting on 3s is great, all out attack, let's make that 2s. The stats of the Hellforged Sword have changed as well. It still has a 2-inch reach, but now it has 5 attacks instead of 4s. It hits on 3s, it wounds on 4s, it has a rend characteristic of 1, and it has a damage of D3. So it doesn't wound quite as easily as the axe. It also doesn't have the same amount of rend, and its damage potential is not as reliable, but could potentially exceed the Demonic Axe. Where the Hellforged Sword shines, though, is that if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Hellforged Sword is a 6, that attack inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target and the attack sequence ends. And with 5 attacks, you are probably likely to roll 1/6. So it's nice that he has a bit of a mortal wound output. I actually think that both weapons are a good option for different reasons. I think you'll want to consider really what your opponent is, if you need more mortal wounds in your list or not. Now, let's talk about these Talons, because this is where the real big rules change is. Previously, he'd have 3 attacks with his Talons, 1-inch range, 3s and 3s, no rend, damage 2. All that stays the same, except now he has 8 attacks with his Talons. I think that is only fair, as these guys are coming from the 8 points. Let's make sure they have 8 attacks, so that's really great. And what that does is that makes the Talons a really great chaff clearer, and the axe and the sword really good at going up against the tougher targets. So in combat, he is a jack of all trades, and he is going to be able to dish out damage against any kind of target. The other rules that he has are the mounted skulls of fallen foes. If this unit has a trophy rack, do not take battle shock tests for friendly units wholly within 9 inches of this unit. In addition, each time an enemy hero or monster is destroyed by this unit in the same turn, increase the range of this ability by 3 inches. A no battle shock bubble is nice. It's great that it's automatic. This means that you're not going to have to waste command points making people immune to battle shock, because you've got this guy around doing it for you. The next ability is Aura of Chaos. This unit has a ward save of 6+. It doesn't sound all that, but actually having a bit of protection against mortal wounds is really great and quite vital in this edition, so I'm pleased they've included that. And the last of his abilities is Immortal Champion. You can carry out one of the following heroic actions with this unit instead of any other heroic action you carry out with it. And there is one for each of the Chaos Gods, and one for Undivided. So the Undivided one is Fiendish Speed, and this is for an Undivided Demon Prince only. until the end of the next turn. Always strikes first applies to this unit. This is a rule that was incorporated to his Warscroll already by default, but now to get access to it you'll have to use a heroic action. Next is a Pledge of Skulls, Khorne Demon Prince only. Until the end of your next turn, each time an enemy model is slain by wounds allocated from attacks made by this unit, heal 1 wound allocated to this unit. I actually really like this one. I like the idea that he's kind of on his last legs, and then bear in mind none of his attacks degrade. He goes in, he's got 8 of those Talon attacks, he wipes out a unit, and then all of a sudden he's up to full wounds again. I think that's really cool. Next one is Eldritch Architect, and this is Tzeentch Demon Prince only. If it is the enemy hero phase, you can roll a dice each time a spell targets this unit. On a 2+, the spell has no effect on this unit. If it is your hero phase, you can attempt to cast 1 spell from the Lore of the Damned in the same manner as a wizard. If this unit is already a wizard, this spell is in addition to any others it can attempt to cast. That's quite cheeky because you can, if you really need a spell at some point, if you get him in a good position, you can just choose a spell from the Lore of the Damned and then cast it in the same manner as a wizard. Next is Eroding Miasma, for the Nurgle Demon Prince only. Until the end of the turn, ward rolls cannot be made for enemy units whilst they are within 3 inches of this unit. This one is quite situational because obviously not every unit has a ward save, so it will have its place. It'll be interesting if you use it, for example, coming up against the Phoenix Temple army, something like that. But as I said, a bit situational. And lastly, we have Ecstatic Carnage, which is a Slaanesh Demon Prince only. If this unit makes a charge move this turn, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons until the end of the turn. So that will give us 2 additional attacks. But again, a bit situational because it's only if this unit makes a charge move in this turn. So for me, the best ones are the Tzeentch ones and the Khorne ones, and the Undivided one being able to strike first is really good as well. The biggest change to this Warscroll really is that he doesn't have the command ability Bloodslit Ground anymore. And this used to be the rules. You can use this command ability in your hero phase if this model has the Khorne keyword. If you do so, until your next hero phase, run and charge rolls made for enemy units within 18 inches of this model are halved. You cannot use this command ability more than once per turn. Now this is a massive change, and I know that this is going to look like quite a significant nerf for this unit because that ability was incredible, but I actually think this is good for the game. I have come across a Demon Prince who has done this to me in my army, and it really did shut down a lot of my army, and I couldn't get where I needed to go. Especially in cities, for example, you've got some units that are quite slow moving. You've got your dwarves that got a 4-inch move, and if they halve their run and charge distances, they're just not getting in the game at all. And you can just fly this one model out and just shut everything down. So, as amazing and as brilliant as that rule was, I am glad it's no longer included in the Warscroll. It's difficult to say what the Demon Prince's role in the army will be now because we don't have access to, for example, the spell laws. We don't have access to command abilities and artifacts that they might be able to take. We'll have to wait for the battle tome to come out for that. But his position seems to be that he is more combat orientated, better attacks, more wounds, able to shrug off mortals with his ward save, and is able to help your units out in battle shock. So probably better used alongside your lower point units like your Marauders to make sure they don't all run away. I really like this addition of the heroic actions. What I'm hoping this means is that you have these in addition to the ability that the mark then gives you. But this Warscroll definitely is a lot tidier and a lot slicker than the previous one. That is for sure. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think. I do read every single comment. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like to take the conversation even further, you can join the 9-inch Charge Hobby Hangout group on Facebook. This is a place for us to come together as a community and encourage each other and chat about our hobby, and feel free to share your models, thoughts, ideas, or ask any questions that you may have. There's a link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find a link in the description to our Patreon page, or you could become a YouTube member. And you can also support the channel by using the affiliate link we have to Element Games. They have a really extensive hobby range. I'm sure you can find anything that you're looking for on there, and they also sell it at a discount to Games Workshop. And if you use the affiliate link, we get a small amount of commission back that we can use to put back into the channel. As ever, this has been 9-inch Charge. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.